Hello friends, welcome to 1 week national level online faculty development program on librarians, silos to mainstreams. I am Dr. Margam Madhusudan, working as Associate Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, University of Delhi. Today's topic is emerging technologies in libraries. This online presentation covers 10 prominent emerging technologies in library and information services, such as mobile technology, WhatsApp, quick response codes, big data, Internet of Things, blockchain technology, augmented reality, robotics, artificial intelligence, and expert systems. The technology in libraries has witnessed a drastic change in the last 2 decades. Libraries being more parallel to these trends, experimenting and adopting new technologies to accomplish the library's overall mission. They introduced many new library services. At the same time, they are also enhancing existing library services which are they are offering in the form of traditional, in the form of online, or it is a web based, converting into mobile based library services to suit the generation X, Y, Z. So the first technology, that is mobile technology. We are in the so-called age of smartphones and tablets. Mobile technology has made drastic changes in users' way of accessing information, open the door for a new kind of learning, and it provides access to information, processes, and communication anytime, anywhere. These technologies offer a new channel for accessing information and sharing with others. They are superb at delivering different kinds of resources, streamed videos, music, information, etc. Current trend across the different academic institutions is BYOD. BYOD stands for Bring Your Own Device. Means this is the practice of students bringing their own smartphones, tablets, miniature devices, and accessing information of libraries from their convenient time to access the library information in ubiquitous manner. So the first technology has widely used in many libraries. The first and foremost, the web-based, mobile-based library service is mobile website. Friends, the mobile website is not new. It is an important component of mobile library services. It is a shorter version of large website that is designed and optimized for viewing on mobile devices. One advantage of developing a mobile website is it only once needs to be developed once, and unlike native applications and need to be developed other earlier specific patterns. So the second important the service which is powered by mobile technologies, MOPAC, stands for mobile based online public access catalog. So this is not a new catalog. It is the catalog which is accessible through mobile phones. So it is a similar to the WebOPAC or similar to a similar card catalog, but here it is optimized to the miniature devices, and the information contained, whatever it is information contained in the catalogs, it will remains the same. The form is different. The another kind of service in this mobile based library services is mobile applications. In short form, it is called mobile apps. So these are standalone dedicated pieces of software or web applications. So these basically to enhance mobile devices capabilities and access information in an elegant, consistent ways, and or the means of creating new services for mobile patrons. The next important the services powered by mobile technology is text message alerts. So text message alerts or entry level mobile web services for a library to offer its patrons very speedy news announcements, event reminders, and other requested that information. So it is having some important the mobile services and SMS notification services includes day-to-day reminder services, renewal request service, overdue notification service, request arrival notification service, news and event reminder service. And it also provides, very importantly, new titles notification service. Whenever libraries are procuring any materials, this is the easy way to send these alerts to users efficiently and elegantly. And for many libraries, texting is used to complement the various other reference services. Currently, it is used by institutions in person, in phone, email, and chat. And there are other mobile-based library services which are provided by the prominent libraries includes library maps, floor maps, library news, and events and blogs. And the interestingly, it is mobile databases. Friends, you know very well, and you are also providing such kind of the subscribed databases and open source databases to your users. But these days, many database vendors are providing this mobile-based websites and and also facilitating mobile version of their databases. And it is very easy to access from their miniature devices. And the other prominent services are powered by uh, mobile technologies are list of new arrivals, interlibrary loan service, books and article search service, library hours, and the library tours. So now question comes here, friends. So this mobile technology is such a wonderful technology which is helping libraries any kind and any services. And what kind of services we can enhance with the help of this mobile technology? That is the question. It is enhance. It is coming in your mind also and also your brain also. Let me give a simple at a glance what are your services, how it will be converted into mobile based services with the help of mobile technologies first. That is this your library website. With this technology, you can convert into mobile library website or it is a responsive website. The next important is library OPAC. You are providing this library OPAC. So now it becomes a mobile library OPAC. Then hyperlinks. This is the power of any website and is the body of all the websites is hyperlinks only. So now these hyperlinks become, it is a mobile apps. Then barcodes. Barcode is a the single dimension one. Now here it becomes, it is a quick response codes. Then reference notification services. All this becomes it is a mobile reference services. Library collections. Now it becomes mobile library collections. Databases, as I mentioned earlier, it is a becomes, it is a mobile databases. library instructions becomes mobile library instructions. These days, libraries are importing many information literacy programs. Now all these are converted into mobile-based information literacy programs. Physical maps becomes mobile maps. Library tools becomes mobile library tools. What needs you need, and it is a such a way it is converting. And the second technology I want to discuss about apps, app-based services. When we are talking about apps, the first and foremost you remember and you are using, and our students and our patrons also using, that is WhatsApp. This WhatsApp technology is a wonderful technology which is enhancing library services in leaps and bounds. And with the help of these WhatsApp technology, the library, some of the services we can integrate in the similar fashion to facilitate users very easy. That is access to information very easy, because the WhatsApp is a free social media application and you can send information, text, audio, video at the same time without any cost instantly. So their SMS service is the best service to uh, powered by this WhatsApp, and you can send all your groups, whether it is a general to all or maybe specific to some. So it is a very useful to all, and instantly it reaches. There is no need to log in, and there is no need to open your email and check. Sometimes you forget password, sometimes it is working, not working, but the WhatsApp, these days without WhatsApp there is no life. So the third one is audio visual video services, and it is a wonderful one integrating audio video services instantly. And with this WhatsApp technology, the reference services are very important, and it will enhance in such a way, and it will improve and instantly. And this WhatsApp also facilitates video service. So with the help of that video service, you can use Ask a Librarian, and you can chat live and video streaming. So then catalog search and journal contents very easily to send. Then suggest a purchase. This is a wonderful service you can float with the help of WhatsApp, because the library wants to procure a particular instrument or particular gadget. So sometimes librarians do have knowledge about their configuration or best or not. So if you plot this in this group, then you will receive so many good ones, and according to you select. And another important aspect here is, when it is a selection criteria comes, whether you are taken feedback from your patrons, it is a well known and it is accepted. Then new title preview, this is a wonderful one. So you can provide all your book titles or any other titles in the form of title preview service. And this is a wonderful service you can provide. Email services. So the email services, it is a such a way you can provide all the images required by research scholars or faculty members, whoever they needs, and whoever they want, whenever they want, wherever they want, they can access it. And they're very importantly library tool. Libraries are struggling because whenever they call library orientation, information literacy program, web-based information literacy program, the students are out rate is the response rate is very less, because this may not suit and all the students timings. So the best way is mobile library tool. And a library tour, if you are sending with the help of this WhatsApp, so users, those who missed your library tour, library orientation, information literacy program, they can watch according to their convenience time. And further, so all students are not equal. Sometimes some students are very easy to grasp what you are telling, what you are instructing, and some students, if they see two, 3 times, then only they can understand. For the slow learners, this kind of programs are very useful, and it is without any cost. The another important aspect is interactive feedback. The feedback is very important for library, and libraries working for only two things. One is that is user satisfaction. So user interactive, that is very important, and the WhatsApp based the interactive feedback gives instant feedback about each and every service or each and every the transaction. So that way it is very convenient and useful. And these are the some of the prominent the services we can use the WhatsApp in this case. The third important technology I want to discuss, that is QR codes. QR stands for quick response codes. And friends, you know very well, exponential information just one scan away. So means here, see, whatever information you want to send, it is in the form of only one code. And the QR code is a two-dimensional code. And many libraries are using barcodes since decades and centuries. This is not a new one, but it is the barcode is a single dimensional code and QR code is a two-dimensional code. And there is a one distinction I want to inform you, because you know very well about QR codes. But the good example is that is distinguished features of QR code in comparison to the classic barcode is that it has a lot of storage, and you can the you can both textual and numerical information you can store in this one, and any directional barcode only you have to scan straight, and with the very this the limited the directions, but you can access this QR code 360 degrees omnidirectional. So that's why the QR code is capable of reading with very high speed 360 degrees. And QR codes are generated by freely available QR code generator, and scan with the help of QR code readers. And these QR code readers are inbuilt in almost all present day smartphones and miniature devices. There is no, if needed, you can download, and our users also download very easily without any problem. So scanning using smartphones and tablets and computers, and easy to find information according to that. So let me, friends, maybe you know little bit about this the difference between a barcode and QR codes. I will give you at a glance with a very simple manner. The barcode, it is a basically it is a linear information, and you can only store your numerical information only with a great extent alphanumerical, and the maximum number of capacity only 20 digits. So we are using only for ISBN number and that purpose only. And whereas this QR code, it has so much and so forth, 100 times better than barcode and storage. For example, in a single QR code, if you want to store numerical data, you can store 7,089 characters. If, if you want to store alphanumeric data in QR code, you can store 4,296 characters. Suppose you want to store binary data. So how much it will occupy in one QR code? That is 2,953 bytes. One byte is equal to 8 bits. So in addition to this, sometimes some codes are there, kanji codes, sometimes some other codes are there. If at all you want to put the different kinds of codes in a single QR code, you can store 1,817 characters. So such a, where is 20 characters, where is 7,089 characters? There is a huge difference. Means here, in simple way, the one QR code is enough for a full length paper of one article. Sometimes one or two chapters, it will facilitate only one. So the, and where these QR codes are much used in which service, library services. So Interestingly, many libraries are using these QR codes, integrating with SMS alert services and MOPAC, email and phone numbers, reference library services, library resources purposes. So sometimes because it is both traditional and online linking this thing. Even it is the limited Wi-Fi facilities available in the libraries. So the librarian can and the library can use this Wi-Fi access with the help of QR code. It is very easy. And the many times the new users and the new students finding difficulty to find your library. So this code, if you send geolocation purpose, very easy and instantly it takes you your library. And the many events taking place and many URLs also maybe about your library or other URLs related to databases or e-journals and so on and so forth. You can simply convert into QR code and send to your desired users for instantly access without entering any URLs, without remembering any URLs. They can easily then access. A wonderful thing is that is even that is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, so on and so forth. So many, even YouTube videos also you can send the links in the form of video. Other than this, so libraries are prominently using these QR codes in the services of library audio tools. Sometimes the audio link you are sending, sometimes it may be opening in a particular the tool may not be opening, but a QR code, if you scan it, definitely it will open. And the second one is group study scheduler, the very innovative services with the help of this QR code. Interestingly, these QR codes are helping these marketing and promotional materials of library in any ways and means. Good example I will give you. The library you can give at the time of membership you are giving a badge. You can put the about your library, convert into one QR code and print. Nobody knows what is it contains. They can scan it, they can get it. And linking from print to electronic journal holdings, the wonderful way you can do this one. And also this way, both these the QR codes not only standalone it is working, but also you can embed it in your websites too also. Along with your hyperlinks, you can also embed it such codes wherever it is required and what form it is required and colorfully you can put it. And providing an electronic alternatives to physical books is a very important. Many these days, the libraries having the physical books as well as electronic books. So at any point of time, a user wants to switch over from the physical to electronic very easy because sometimes there is a the limitation is there. So the user is studying and the library times are over. So at that time, the remaining part he can read with the help of QR code on the go. And the important is the bringing external resources into library. This is a great help from QR codes. Not only that, the finding appropriate help also that is possible through QR codes. And taking the catalog recording with you. Suppose anybody searching, anybody wants the catalog records, means how many books available on particular the area, particular keyword, those are working remotely. You can send, search it, and you can save as a QR code and you send your QR code. Securely it will goes this. So these are the uh, um, prominent uses of QR codes in library services. Of course, there are numerous uses of QR codes and according to your purpose, according to your feasibility and possibility, according to your users' interest and users' motivation, you can develop. Interestingly, I will tell you the barcode you see anywhere in the world, it is only you can see in black and white. But this QR code you can see in any color as you like, as your users like it. And you can integrate the QR code with your university logo. And if at all you are providing the QR code with a particular Ask a Librarian service, you can put your librarian photo on you integrating that QR code also. Very interestingly, so many patterns available and so diligent designs available, so different colors according to your convenience, according to your purpose, you can do that. So the another important technology, that is a fourth technology, is big data. So don't forget and don't that is upset with this big data. Big data is a very simple data. Okay, the big data is basically rapidly increasing on 5 fronts of value, velocity, variety, veracity, and value. So these are the 5 organs. Based on this big data is working. So see, this data is generated, gathered, processed, and analyzed in the big data ecosystem, which has been selected for the realization and visualization of the final content. So with the help of this one, the libraries can provide personalized, content aware that systems. So which is recommendations and based on the user's interests. So this is a wonderful means. So the text mining purpose and the data curation purpose, this big data is very much useful in library service. These days, the libraries are confronted with an enormous amount of structured and unstructured data. You are practicing, also you are facing many problems. So library work no longer focuses on only books, only journals, only catalogs data, but the rather manner of unstructured and structured data, data forms like text, metadata. Metadata means data about data, images, different kinds of images, and streaming media, audio files, video files, 3D digital copies, and softwares, what not this one, all you can integrate. So, friends, the use of big data seems to be relatively new in the field of libraries at present moment. But with the help of these big data technologies, the new value added services can be created and provided to users efficiently and effectively. For example, some of the services, how we can provide, how we can integrate in library services. One, to optimize the collections, maybe books, maybe journals, to generate a better search result. That is a wonderful with the help of this big data. Number two, so these days our users, the after library door, the next door is Google door and Google Baba. So, so and Google like knowledge card you want to provide. So this big data is a wonderful tool. It will work as a backend, and you can reformat it, the library data and the library card that linked from the outside in order to achieve interoperability on the web. So, friends, the another important the services you can use in circulation systems, and you can develop uh, with the help of this big data. You can develop like a WorldCat. So that way you are enhance your OPAC into such a fascinated online public access catalog. And the other ways, uh, you can also, this is efficiently create the metadata schemes and taxonomies, designing standard retrieval methods. So this way also it will help you. So that way, and you can also sometimes what happens here, describe a massive volume of both structured and unstructured data. So the data is increasing. So that is a, you know very well, the fifth law of library science. Library is a growing organism. So the data in the libraries are increasing day by day. So maybe structured data, maybe unstructured data. So that is you want to massive, that is describe massive volume of this both one. It is a very good one. And secondly, this if you want to provide the individual piece of information to users as a whole or in a parts of data mining, that is using other data analysis methods. So that is it. And sometimes I will the data mining purpose, I will tell you the efficient use. I will give you, one is using the data stored in library, another one is using the data collected during the process when users use the library services. And the plus side of this one, you can make good relations. What way you can do this one? You can the relationships, better relationship among the co-authors, geolocations, dates, named entities, subject classification, and institution affiliations, publishers, and historical circulation information efficiently and effectively. And if at all you want to record and track library users activity, and to store that data in large scale of data storage, so then you conduct data analysis for improving overall user experiences and also user satisfaction of library services with the help of this big data. And finally, to facilitate greater interoperability, to adopt methods of content delivery, to substitute traditional face-to-face librarian. In general, and it will generate this personalized recommendations and also presents innovative way with the accessible system throughout the data integration. So such a way you can integrate this one. And friends, big data affects libraries both directly and indirectly. So let me tell you, so how directly it will affect. So the direct effect is in the use of big data tools to analyze big data set of libraries. And also it allows automation of several real-time library services. So these will help you to improve your existing library services. And indirectly, how it will affect. So through the library users who are increasingly using big data in their research, big data is finding applications in data mining, data curation, and research data management. So these are the some of the best uses of big data in library services. Let me complete this one. The another important technology I will discuss, that is the Internet of Things. Internet of Things in short form, everybody knows, that is IoE. IoE is emerging as as the wave in the development of the internet. It has taken a great leap forward from internet of communication to internet of things, making it is possible to connect objects and transfer data with or without human intervention. So the intersection and culmination of several of these effects and of networks, spaces, and data are poised to disrupt technologies with libraries. This is simply called Internet of Things, IoE. So, in simple words, friends, IoE is nothing but computing concepts that describes a future where everyday physical objects will be connected to the internet and be able to identify themselves to other devices. That is the the main purpose of IoE. The objects, both living or non-living, with sensors and having networking capabilities. So these are going to interact with the each other and also with the people using the internet. So by incorporating IoE in library services, particularly with the RFID system, then it is possible to introduce such a new concept that is called building automation with the help of wireless sensors. RFID tags, wireless sensors networks efficiently make you that is wonderful services in library services. Other uses of IoT in library services includes provide virtual tour come patterns orientation. So as I discussed the same one, we can provide these virtual tours in any other emerging technologies too. And this tool also you can use for the same purpose. Help in shelving guide from patterns favorite list and online late fee payment. So this is very important. Example I will tell you, they make availability of various missions provide alerting services. So the libraries these days are providing particularly special libraries. They are providing so many so forth alerting services. So this technology definitely efficiently implement such services with users satisfaction. And maintenance of temperature, humidity in the stack rooms, controlling dust, getaway pests and rodents in the library. This technology very easy. You can identify and you can use it and you can throw it. And importantly, locating books on bookshelves. That is very sophisticated the technology powered by this one. And IoE helps librarians to manage lights. These days, this is the ventilation, lighting in the libraries are very important for users' convenience and users' readings in the library, physical reading. So that's why, so these controlling, wherever users are not there, automatically this technology is switched off. Wherever it is more it is required, it will instruct the librarians and to make more the lighting. So automatically controls without any intervention of the librarian. And performing air monitoring and ventilation. This is very important because as you know, friends, these days physical footage of users are decreasing. Virtual users are increasing. Even though physical users are less, but libraries consumption of information is more. Day by day it is increasing. But as of this your records, the physical users are very less. No problem. But this is if it is air monitoring and ventilation, it is not only for users but also for the safety of your library materials. Proper air conditioning, proper air ventilation is required for particularly rare documents and other very important documents and particular sections. And this IoE improves the work quality of your staff and also efficiently working libraries. So the important the thing which is powered by IBO is real-time messaging service. That is, sometimes your servers it will take some time, but this real-time messaging service, it is a wonderfully you can integrate and wonderfully you can provide and powered by this IBO. Finally, perform this book monitoring, registering, inventory control, self-checking, self-checking, self-checkout, and detecting automatically. That is a very efficient manner with this technology. So, friends, the another moving to another technology, that is a sixth technology related to blockchain technology. blockchain technology is a hot topic these days, and it is a buzzword of the year. So, what is blockchain technology? Blockchain is a digital information recording method capable of recording data using logbook approach and with the following essential characters. Number one, ordered. Number two, incremental. Number three, sound, that is cryptographically verifiable up to a given block. And the fourth one is digital. So these are the four characteristics, essential characteristics of a blockchain. And the blockchain's potential purpose is to convenient system for record keeping that could be lead to more government documents, historical records, and other pieces of information migrating through such a system. So the blockchain technology definitely help cut transaction and record keeping costs. So ultimately it will improve accuracy and also reduce risk of losing information to disaster or sabotage. So these are very, very important aspects for the long run of the libraries. So, and the friends, the blockchain technology uses a distributed database that organizes data into records. So here it is records means blocks. So that have validation and time stamped. It is linked to previous records so that they can only be changed by those who own the encryption keys to retain the files. These days, the the problems you are seeing and experiencing, so that kind of problems of manipulation problems, so definitely overcome with this technology. So the blockchain technology is still in its infancy in library services. The blockchain will be used to provide unencumbered access to digital content and collections to potential users in participating library systems while managing risk to ensure that the privacy and the personal identity each user is secure, and a sovereign identity, that is called SSSI. SSI is a blockchain application that enables an individual or organizations to have sole ownership and control of their digital and analog the identities. Blockchain could be used to develop an international interlibrary loan. So the library is one of the important services, interlibrary loan. But with this technology, you can go not only ILL, it becomes ILL, international interlibrary loan. So, and the particularly this blockchain technology is very, very useful and prominently using by law libraries. How it is using? See, friends, whenever there is a further possible authentic primary sources are there. Many a times for law purposes, any information you are providing to lawyers or law students or for legal purposes, so they want authentication of information. So many a times the authentication of library information to the law users, law patrons, very difficult. But with this blockchains could be used to designate a specific location where the most recent and authenticated version of problems and for the legal manner. So the legal libraries are using this technology very much for their local purposes. And the other examples I will tell you, there is a one library called San Jose State University School of Information. This university library using blockchain technology innovatively and creatively. How they are using this technology and how they are integrated in their existing library services. I will give you example. I will quote building and enhanced metadata systems for libraries. They are using data centers in protecting digital first sale rights. And other purpose they are using the blockchain technology to connect to network of structure based the encryption and that is the privacy that is ensured. And the wonderfully this technology using in library services hosting digital peer-to-peer sharing. So encryption is very fantastic in this manner. And the blockchain technology also helping partnership across centers, across organizations. Now comes to the another technology that is augmented reality. So friends, augmented reality, in abbreviation it is called AR. AR, it is the byproduct of mobile technology and as a byproduct of smartphones. You know very well earlier that is the technology earlier, the reality we have seen as virtual reality. But this augmented reality is a direct or indirect live view of a physical real world environment whose elements are augmented by computer generated perceptual information, ideally across multiple sensory modalities, including visual, audio, and haptic. So, the augmented reality is an interact technology that superimposes a computer generated image on user's view of the real world. So thus it is providing a composite view. So the AR increasingly popularity of, as I mentioned, it is a smartphones. Because of the smartphones, it has promoted the development of AR mobile applications in libraries and where this AR used in library services. So some of them I will give you the AR based library services. These AR augmented reality enable users to see the information that cannot be automatically detected with their senses. So that wherever they are unable to sense also, this will help you this technology. And users can improve their performance in carrying out their task through the help of information provided by the virtual objects. This is powered by AR. And integrating AR in books, you can provide this dynamic content. It is provided that promotes the bidirectional flow of communication. Sometimes what happens these days in the books, the information, it is static information along with some QR codes also provided, and further information also they are giving the links also. So wherever that links are there and further information, further references, sometimes that may streaming video, sometimes that may be audio, and sometimes maybe that is video. So that is a case. So simply this technology, so without wasting users time, so means here the fourth law of library science, save the time of the user. So that is, so this one, so this is saving such a manner, and this is strengthening the fourth law of library services. And reading can turn into active task. What else you required? That is, and the later they can learn more about the particular content. And AR can be used as a very good learning tool. And the images from books can be overlaid with digital data. So that is such a fantastic knowledge. And these are apps are available again freely. And of course, the libraries are enormously using this technology, not in India, but in other countries, developed countries. So the concept of augmented books nowadays it is the need of the hour, and it provides additional illustrations and reflections for a deeper understanding of the context through other perspectives. So, so the AI transforms a book by supplementing with digital information in the form of additional videos, in the form of additional animations, and it is very helpful overlaid information on the related concepts. So, and AR presents information more naturally and intuitively to students by providing more realistic environments for learning purpose. Of course, friends, these are some of them. There are many other uses of this one also. Yeah, it will provide virtual objects and backgrounds which are simultaneously projected on the real world to create sensational immersion. And the AR will merge various types of content very easily. You can merge with a text, with text, with video, video, audio, text, and three-dimensional media, and reduce opacity of information. Such a wonderful thing. And the AR provides geolocation metadata and 3D enhancements, visual or audio overlays like context aware systems. Information can be stored according to various contextual parameters. Simple means of interaction creates new model of learning. So make it possible to filter information and use its current context. So these are the uses of augmented reality. Definitely, these are enhancing existing library services into new wave of library services. Dear friends, the eighth technology, that is robotics. Friends, you know very well, the fourth industrial revolution is considered to be the outcome of convergence of technologies, several technologies in industrial operations, and these technologies are not limited to robotics, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, big data, linked data, 3D printing, and etc. The robots will be used mainly to provide different kinds of services to humans in an autonomous manner. These services will be either carried out by one robot or combination of various robots. If it is a simple task, it is carried out by a single robot. If it is a complex task, it is carried out by the cooperation between several robots. So, friends, robots are very famous in other area organizations, but it is a new entry in libraries. What kind of applications of robots in library activities are? One is CAPM, stands for Comprehensive Access to Printed Material. So this is a robots built on demand, and it is a system through batch scanning. Robots helps in searching and analyzing full text generated information from images. For example, chatbots can simulate an intelligent conversation to text to speech or potentially through embedded representation. Robots also answer reference queries very easily. And also it will build on understanding of users' needs from existing chart services. This means the chart services provided by libraries are enhanced with this robotics technology. The another important aspect which related to robotics technology is automated customer service. This is one of the very important and vital service, mostly to answer simple queries and directing users to websites online frequently asked questions files. Many a times, the users are asking several questions. Many of these questions already answered by the libraries in earlier, and these are all ready-made answers available in their library websites in the module called FAQ. So these robots, particularly Eve, eGain chatbots, and also helping the users directed into that FAQ pages. And a robot with an arm with some degrees of freedom, which will be able to find out the book with the required tag, then pick it and place it on the table. This means if user is sitting in any corner in the library, if he is giving instruction to robot, so whatever he decides, whatever she desires, so the desired book, it goes to requested that particulars, it goes to consent section, taking that book and bringing to particular place where he or she sits on the table and place it on the table. So this way, the robots are helping very much in library service. The other services which are powered by robots includes this uh, web application that uses artificial intelligence algorithm to conversation with humans. That is a very important aspect. So when we are talking about the conversations with humans, the Cleverbot is our chatbot. Basically it is a web application powered by artificial intelligence algorithm, so that it is the robot easily can converse with humans. And it is also using sensor data. So a robotic arm detects the books. Many a times the misplacing books are nothing but lost in large libraries, because it is very difficult to find out a missing book. So, but the robots are very intelligent ones, and it will detect the books if it is misplaced one, and it will also bring the source location and place it desired location. That means the wrongly placed either by the users or by the library professionals. So no problem. So it is easily detect and it will send to correct place. That is. The another important, this one is the books can be identified using pre-programmed data in the system. So that way, so maintaining books in order. So this means according to classification. So these books are arranged in the stack section of the particular rack according to classification number. The other uses are includes the robot would understand the voice of the user and check the catalog to find the book, including that is look for RFID tag to take to that in that manner. So these way robots are helping a great help to libraries and recognizing and manipulating books and using mobile platforms, and also navigate using the ambient RFID tags embedded in a particular floor. There is a very important system which was provided by robotics is ASRS. ASRS stands for Automated Storage and Retrieval System. So this system allows readers to access their desired material within minutes. It's a wonderful service powered by robotics. So this kind of service you want to see, you have to go to University of Chicago. So University of Chicago using excellently this service very efficiently to user satisfaction. And finally, it is interesting to note that experimental robot helps the library user to find the location of the book, whatever he decides, wherever he wants. So that is also very, very innovative. So it means it is helping the library professions in the place of robots will exist. So coming to the ninth technology, that is artificial intelligence. Friends, you know very well about artificial intelligence. Today, every emerging application is built on using machine learning. And it is quite apparent that much of the applications we run today come with intelligence. So, the artificial intelligence commonly seen with finding information or answer either through search engines or through personal assistants like Siri, Google personal assistant, or Amazon Echo. So the term artificial intelligence often conjures images of robots and taking computers. There's a wide variety of techniques, wide variety of programming styles, and wide variety of devices. So AI is concerned with intelligent behavior in artifacts. Intelligent behavior involves perception, reasoning, learning, communicating, and acting in complex environments. AI used to empower women in accomplishing otherwise tedious or difficult tasks. This is one of the very, very important the aspect as far as the AI usage in concern. Because whenever it is problematic, tedious to the physical LIS professionals, it is easy to artificial intelligence. That's why a rare existing examples in this worldwide, which uses several concrete ideas for implementing artificial intelligence in the library. So where these are using. So some of them I will discuss in brief. It is the artificial intelligence helps the library's catalogs to convert into online discovery system. This means this interface looking like Google interface, and it is they get it from searching multi-format interface like Google. So means the patterns to discover items that would have previously been inaccessible. So the second usage is reduce of storage cost. This is these days libraries are finding very difficulty the storage problems. And the fifth law of library science, that is, the library is a growing organism. The day by day, the structured data and unstructured data is enormously increasing. And the storage capacity of the libraries are always in problematic. So with this artificial intelligence, the future of storage also points how to libraries can begin to prepare which are impossible to predict. So the another one is the artificial intelligence helping, that is one model called machine learning model. So this introduces streaming algorithm to process data and provides previous interactions, word relationships, and vector analysis. So thus the artificial intelligence web designer to update the website as many times as you like it until you get it just right. So artificial intelligence systems that can easily process and configure huge data sets of information. So these are the some of the uses of artificial intelligence in library services. Friends, coming to the last technology I want to discuss, that is expert systems. Friends, these expert systems are byproduct of or powered by artificial intelligence. The expert systems are numerous in use in different kinds of libraries. Particularly in the subjects like law, medicine, these expert systems are playing a pivotal role. And these expert systems basically to help a reference librarian. For example, a expert system like research, like pointer, like online reference assistant, like answer man and flexis. These are the some of the very, very important expert systems being used by libraries. And the expert systems, the other purpose means not only helping the reference librarians, but also converting ASCR2 into highly structured rules. ASCR stands for Anglo-American Cataloging Rules 2. And this makes ASCR2 into structured rules and automated cataloging system with the help of expert systems. The the expert systems, for example, in classification, good example is ColdSort, a conceptual browser designed to serve either as a search or an indexing tool. So this is much used in the environmental pollution experts. And also the database is called BASIS. So coming to indexing, the good example of expert system in indexing is MedIndex. Coming to acquisition, the application of expert system in acquisition is monograph selection advisor. This is a very pioneering effort in building library collections. These days, because of the hybrid nature of collection development, the print is decreasing and electronic is increasing in such a context. So these expert systems are very, very helpful. And coming to the other purposes, there is a Cyber Phoenix for libraries. Is a fully customized chatbot powered by expert systems, works to automate routine and low-level inquiries. So this is a very, very useful one. The friends, coming to the conclusion, emerging technologies definitely provide librarians with unique opportunities to sustainably enhance user-centered services and provide collaboration between libraries and their clients. So these powerful tools and powerful technologies definitely enhance the user satisfaction a greater manner. So they facilitate the creation of knowledge and support innovation and help the patrons become smart patrons. Even these days, libraries are converting into smart libraries and like smart cities, and smart cities having smart libraries, and smart libraries having smart users. So the library of this century is not only a place to watch, to read, and to listen passively, but a place where new social relationships are launched and knowledge are created, knowledge are explored, and knowledge are shared. It is a better space for real-time knowledge creation and design for experimentation and community-driven innovation. So friends, the new technologies such as augmented reality, wearable computing, 3D printing are the slowly becoming relevant to library services, forcing continuously development and tailoring libraries offering to change conditions and evolving customer habits. Finally, there is no doubt that the emerging technologies in libraries play a pivotal role in information dissemination, information management, as well as survive in these libraries on the go environment. When I'm talking about on the go environment, which is powered by mobile technologies and use of smartphones. So with this, I'm thankful to organizers. My special thanks to Sri DG Patil, President of CDC, GF GC Hangbad, and my special thanks also due to Professor S.K. Jamada, Principal of this college. And you are watching this my online presentation because of Dr. S.R. Patil, who is the program director and is organizing the National Online Faculty Development Programs for Librarians. Of course, friends, without you, there is no value to this presentation. So my special thanks to all the online faculty development participants for watching curiously, listening, and sincerely. My acknowledgements to all the authors, websites whose original works are used in the form of content, references, in the form of screenshots, images, and QR codes in this presentation for better understanding of the online FDP participants and for academic purpose only. So dear friends, I have given very comprehensive references in 2 slides consisting of 22. These references are very useful for further reading and also further enhancing your existing knowledge with regard to emerging technologies. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you, one and all.